Great, and I hope you can see me also. So welcome to the webinar, Career Opportunities in Image Consulting and Soft Skills. This session will be delivered by myself. I'm Sonia Dewan, AICI, and I'm the founder and managing partner of Indian School of Image Management. I'm an image consultant and an entrepreneur. I'm also an international keynote speaker as well as an educator. Have more than 12 years of experience and have been training in India, abroad in various countries. My personal forte lies into personal branding, educating in image consulting. I'm also one of the first AICI certified image professional in the world and in India, sorry, and 98 in the world, sorry for that error. And also I'm, as you know, Indian School of Image Management is one of the only CU provider company in India. So that's another feather in the hat. I'm currently president of AICI India chapter, and yes, I'm also treasurer of another organization, which is an NGO which works into women empowerment and in the education of children. So that's a little bit about me. My co-presenter today is Ashwin Dewan. He's the co-founder and managing partner of Indian School of Image Management. He has more than 15 plus years of experience into business, into entrepreneurship, strategy, and I will let Ashwin introduce himself and tell you all a little bit more about him. So let's begin with today's session. And as I said, if you have questions, feel free to ask those in the chat box. So let's get started. Now, we are talking about career opportunities in image management and soft skills. But before we dive further into the career opportunities, let's understand a little bit about image management and a little bit about soft skills. What is it all about? What do we understand by it? Let's get our our basics sorted, or maybe get onto the same page. You all will have a few little understanding of image management. You all have heard, have read. I know a few of you are already image consultants or pursuing image consulting. So let's try to get onto the same page and understand from an overall perspective, what do we understand by the word image? Now, as you can see on your screen, it says every one of us have it, but only a few are able to manage it to our advantage. Now, what we are trying to say over here, that image is something everybody has. Everybody has a picture, an image, an impression of themselves which is attached to them. Let's talk about a very simplistic idea. When you have to describe your friend, and somebody asks you, or your family member asks you that, what do you think about that person? You use certain words to describe another person. You use certain words to describe your own friends. You use certain words to describe your family members, right? How do you get to those words? You arrive to those words by your understanding or your impression of that particular person on the basis of their personality, on the basis of their qualities, the things that they do, the way they look, the way they behave, and everything in totality makes you arrive to that one particular word or that adjective that you use to describe your friend or family member or the person that you know, right? So that means each one of us have an image. But a very few of us are the ones who manage it to our advantage. Why? Because we are aware about it, because we know what our image communicates about us, and we are able to manage it and enhance it to better our career, maybe to better our business, to just maybe be a better person, or just to be loved by people. Why not? Right? So that's what, in a nutshell, let's dive a little bit deeper and understand image in totality means you. Image is simply just you in the eyes and mind of others. Okay, so your roles, your lifestyle, your personality, your nature, your values, your upbringing, the friends that you have, the places that you go to, the things that you wear, the things that you use, and the way that you communicate, the way that you present yourself, your overall presence is image. Okay, so image is you in the eyes and mind of others. And this image, remember, I just said a few minutes ago that when you have to describe your family member, you use a certain adjective to do so, right? So that is image, and that, if used over and over again by not one person but a group of people, becomes your identity. So ultimately, image becomes your identity, right? So that is what image management is. And getting further into it, when image becomes your identity, can I have the next slide? I want you to just maybe, do a little experiment over here. I'm just going to throw it out there, and we are going to have a little experiment into getting into the idea and aspect of image and understanding it a little bit more in depth. All right. So what I want you to do is, we are going to have a little activity and you need to give your answers in the chat box. Now imagine that you have been, not a great thing to imagine, but just from a hypothetical scenario, let's imagine that you have not been feeling very well for quite some time. Okay, you have maybe a stomach ache or something. And it's just you have been taking medicines, but it's not going away. So finally, it's time for you to see a doctor. You met a couple of doctors, but then someone just maybe referred you to somebody, or maybe you want to just see somebody who's an expert. Okay, so you want to finally go and see a doctor. You are anyways a little bit anxious because this pain, with your maybe home remedies, herbal remedies, you tried a couple of medicines, it's not going away. So you arrive to the hospital. You are a little bit anxious that what will be, what it will be, and hopefully everything will be all right. Hopefully I'm fine. My health is in place, it's in order. And I do yoga and I do exercise and I am having a healthy lifestyle. I don't know why. So you have questions. You have so many questions. And I hope this hospital is good. I hope this doctor is good. I hope the things that will be provided will be good. Okay, so you are thinking about all of this, and then at that moment you finally you're waiting in that waiting area, outside every doctor's cabin you have that waiting area, and finally your turn arrives and you walk into the cabin. You open the door, you look across the table, and you see this person. All right, now I want you to quickly take a moment in the chat box and just share your feelings. How would you feel if you see someone like this sitting across the table in that clinic? Just your feelings, nothing else. Casual, yes. Shocked, I can totally relate with that. Doubtful, of course. Terrified, where am I? Yes. Scary, okay. Confused, I'll be shocked. How can a person like him be a doctor? Okay, not convincing. Doubt. All right, very similar feelings and emotions everyone is feeling. Anybody else worried? Can't trust him, will try to escape from there. Okay, hospital belongs to Richard Branson. Apprehensive, sure, he's not a doctor. Who is he? Doubtful. Okay, so my stomach ache is gone. Revati, you have a good sense of humor. All right. So, yes, I think all of us are feeling the same way. All of these things. In fact, even if I would also walk in, I would feel I would be exactly in the same place. In your shoes, I would feel exactly the same way as how you are feeling. And what happened just now? What happened is that when we go to a hospital or a clinic and we are going to meet a doctor has a particular stereotype, right? So we want to see a particular stereotype of a doctor. Let's see if the same situation is happening and now you see this person. How would you feel now? Again, in the chat box, just write down how would you feel if you see this person across the table. You walk into the cabin, you open the door, you see across the table this person is sitting, of course, promising. What else? Responsible, assured, trust, experienced, injection, reliable person, okay, satisfied, wonderful. What else? Okay, let's talk. Professional, experienced, expert, great, comfortable. All right. So you feel also a lot of people said that where am I and who is this person? So you feel that you are in the right place also. Maybe some of you would be feeling that as well. Experienced. Great. I'm in right hands. Yes. Yes. So now let's have a look at both the images once again. And what happened here is it's exactly the same person. Yeah. Right hand, right person, but the person was exactly the same. There was no difference. What was the difference? As I said, when we are meeting someone, when we are, and especially this is a very profound case where you have a stereotype of a doctor, that the doctor needs to be in a lab coat, needs to have a stethoscope which is visible, need to be in light color, muted colors, and needs to fit into that image or the picture of that clinic. Right? So that's what we were seeing over here and in the right hand side person, and we got that comfort. Whereas on the left hand side, we didn't see any of it. In fact, I'm seeing tattoos, I'm seeing, these bright colors, and I'm seeing this person who's edgy, who's wearing a knuckle ring or something or the other, and that makes me anxious. That does not fit in the stereotype of a doctor. Right? So what happened just here was that within the first instant, within the first few seconds, you looked at the person and your brain started doing those calculations. And trust me, each one of us do that. There is a software in our brain. The minute we lay eye on something, we are given eyes. Eyes are supposed to, when they are so close to the brain, the reason behind that is that these eyes actually capture the image, send it to the brain, it processes, it does the entire software calculation, and with the entire back-end knowledge of, how does a doctor needs to look like, it does that check mark in front of it. And if it matches, you're in the right place. If it does not, you're in the wrong place, right? So in the first few instants, what happens is that you look at the visuals and you decide that is it right or is it wrong? Trustworthy, not trustworthy, or assuring or not assuring, or satisfying or not satisfying, or the right person or the wrong person. All of these calculation happens within the first few seconds just by visuals. And I have just touched upon visuals, which form the first impression, which made you just run away. Now imagine you saw the person who was on the right hand side only. Okay, the guy who was sitting on the right hand side, and with the lab coat, with the stethoscope and everything, perfect. Appearance wise, great impression. The first few seconds, wonderful. I'm in the right hand, right place. Everything is going as per how you wanted it. Now you sat down, okay, and you started talking to the person. And just imagine, this person is busy looking at its own documents. Okay, not so you're sitting across. Imagine that I am the doctor. You're sitting across right now. You can see me on the screen. So imagine you're sitting across the table and I'm on my own things. I'm looking at the documents. I'm asking you, so tell me, what's your problem? I did not make an eye contact. I didn't even look at you once. What's your problem? All right. So why don't you just get these tests done and come back to me after 1 week and I will see you then. And I go back to my business. Would you still feel comfortable with me as a doctor if I would have behaved like this with you? Anybody in the chat box? No. No, a big no. All right. Nope. Great, great. So nobody's still liking. We liked the person when we saw him, but now suddenly we are saying no. What happened? So even if you touched upon, you did the check mark What is happening here is that, yes, the first few seconds of creating that first impression worked, but because you didn't get the attention, because there was no personal contact, right? You were not given the importance. It looked like that the doctor had no interest in your problem. You did not get that trust, was taken away immediately. And that brings me, yes, no emotional support, no EQ, right? You now suddenly feel that this doctor does not understand my pain. Why do I have to be here? I want to go to someone who can look at me, who can hear what I'm facing right now. So even with the right appearance, if this doctor was missing the right behavior or the right communication, maybe he didn't even speak much, then it would go even worse. So image is not just, yes, the visual, because they are right here, very much connected to your brain. The visuals play the first role, but it is also the behavior and the communication. And that brings me to the image management. What is the ABC of image? Image becomes your identity, and it becomes your identity on the basis of the appearance, behavior, and communication. These are the information that we feed into our system, which creates an identity of you. And let's understand, what do we mean by these ABC. A stands, as you can see, for appearance. That means anything that I see in you visually. So your clothes, the way you groom yourself, your health, your weight, your body structure, for women, makeup, your accessories, anything that I can visually see in you goes into appearance. Behavior is where self-confidence, the way you carry yourself, your presence, the air about you. Emotional intelligence. A lot of you said no emotional support. So that's emotional intelligence. Interpersonal skills, maintaining eye contact, showing that interest, leaning forward. Yes, tell me what's wrong. Showing that concern, having the right etiquette, maybe wishing you good evening, good morning, right? Maybe asking your name. Body language, leaning towards you, maintaining eye contact, asking you to sit down, showing a little bit of a concern, checking, asking you to breathe. When a doctor says and checks with the stethoscope and asks you to breathe, you feel that, yeah, there is a proper examination happening, right? If that does not happen, we feel that, oh, this doctor doesn't know anything. So that is very important. So doing that as well, right? So the behavior is also an important part. And then finally, coming to communication. Your communication skills, which involves the voice, the way you speak something, your verbal, the words, the language do you use? You use positive language, you use not so positive language, do you use gender neutral language, do you use powerful words? Your presentation skills, how do you present? Your public speaking skills, how comfortable you are speaking in front of an audience? Your listening skills. What happened with the doctor? He was listening, but not really listening. He was listening just because he had to, right? So listening is also another very, very critical part of communication. And that makes the ABC of image. When you have all these three things, when you become aware of all these three things, when you consciously start managing or controlling all these things on your own, that's the process of image management. Then you can also manage your identity or your image. Okay, so moving on from image management, and now that you have learned the ABC, let's understand soft skills. So we are talking about image management and soft skills. What are soft skills? Now, to understand soft skills, I will just give you an example of any device. Let's take any device. For example, you're right now on your, maybe on your laptops or your mobile phone. Now, for any device to work, it needs two very critical things. The first one is the hardware, what is on the outside, the internal machinery and everything, right? So for a laptop, there needs to be a processor, there needs to be keyboard, there needs to be a screen, and all those things are hardware. But you can have a great hardware, but for it to function properly, it needs a software. Okay, so Just like every device, for it to be complete, it needs to function properly. It needs to have hardware as well as the software. It's the combination of these two things which makes a device run properly and to its utmost capacity, right? So similarly, in a human being, we have two types of skills. One is hard skills and the other one is soft skills. Let's understand hard skills. Hard skills are your ability to perform your technical abilities. So your education, the skills that you have, learned to do some certain task, or on the job training, or your technical training which you learn, or your certifications in different areas. Those are all your hard skills. Okay. Most of us actually rely upon our hard skills when we are, especially our education system is also something where it's mostly 100% on concentrating on hard skills only. Get the best of the marks, get the best education. That's hard skill. Okay. The soft skills is your knowledge about across, basically about you as a person. So it is across, it is something that is not specific to a particular job title or an industry. It's more about you as a person. So your people skills, your social skills, your human skills. Okay, so a lot of things comes into that. So that is applicable for everyone. And when you have a good combination of your education, which is your hard skills, or your technical knowledge, combined with your soft skills, that makes you 100%. That gives you all the skills. That makes you work at the utmost level of competencies that you can, the higher level of potential that you can reach. Most of us actually concentrate so much on hard skills that we are only working on 50% of the capacity that we can achieve, and we completely let go or miss on the remaining 50%, which is our soft skills. Imagine if you are able to do amazingly well with just your hard skills. If you combine the remaining 50% into it and get the soft skills, what can you achieve? Right? So soft skills and hard skills are a good combination for a person to reach their utmost level or highest level of potential that they can. And as I said, soft skills are across. So it does not matter what job title or what industry, or even do you have a job title. You could be just a student or a homemaker, or you could be just retired maybe. But you still do need soft skills because, as I said, it's people skills, it's social skills. So let's dive deeper into soft skills. Why we are concentrating on soft skills? Because it handles the relationship in the workplace, right? So when you are having interpersonal relationship with your colleagues, with your bosses, with people working under you, yes, you could be having great experience, great resume, but if you don't know how to work with your colleague, if you walk into the office and you miss saying good evening or good morning, or saying hi, or just talking or connecting with the people on a humane level, you may not be able to get your work done. So it handles a relationship in the workplace. If you have soft skills, you can communicate effectively with people, so you can get your message across much more better. You can understand people's emotion. You can maybe explain, you can read people and understand that if I'm able to get onto the same page or not. You can also create a great first impression if you are able to manage your soft skills and also gain professional development, because if you have the edge of the remaining 50% with soft skills, not just your CV, which talks about your work experience or your education or your technical knowledge, but if you also have these competencies of soft skills, it helps you grow faster than people working with you. You can also have a career progression and promotion just by looking at your soft skills. People who can connect with other people, show leadership skills, communicate effectively, are good with teams, bring teams together, can handle conflict very well, can resolve conflict very well, are the people who progress better and get promoted more. They set you apart and also complement your hard skill. Everyone has got the same resume. Every year, people are passing out from MBA, from engineering schools. People working in your organization also could be having the same set of responsibilities, roles, as well as the work experience. What sets you apart is your person, as your personality, your image, your soft skills. And it is also very hard to automate. You can't have a manual to for soft skills. There is no like even rocket science is simpler. Like there is a manual, step 1 do this, step 2 do this, step 3 do this. Soft skills is more natural. It's a quality that you need to inbuild. It needs to come inherently in you. You need to work on it. There are very few interesting statistic, and there's so many statistics on across different platforms, but these are very interesting one that I would like to share with you. The first one is by LinkedIn, and in 2018, LinkedIn listed leadership skills, communication, collaboration, time management as the top 4 most in-demand soft skills. Every year, LinkedIn does this research where they come up with the top 4 in-demand soft skills for that year. So this is for 2018. Stanford University did a research. It conducted a research with Fortune 500 CEOs and found that 75% of long-term job success depends on people skill, while only 25% on technical knowledge. I was just talking about 50% hard skills and 50% soft skills, but the research says that it's 75% dependent on people skills and 25% on technical knowledge. Now, if you have something which you can use to progress, to reach the highest level of potential, why not use it? Okay, so that's the importance and why soft skills is important in current time and era, and it will be even more important for future and years to come. So now that we have understood the importance and what is image, we understood what soft skills is, we also understood the importance of soft skills. I'm going to do a little myth busting because, as I said, the idea of today's session, before we get into the career opportunities, is to first get onto the same page. So few concepts or few myths that are running around about image management and soft skills. Let's bust those myths. The first one, image consulting and soft skills is a new concept. So that's a big myth. Again, it's not, it's absolutely not a big or a new concept. Why? Because as I said, soft skills is something which is your people skill. Now, if something is a people skill, obviously it needs to be as old as people. So image consulting and soft skills is as old as, if you can date it back to, as long as we had the civilization, we had people around, we had humans around. Now, yes, I'm talking in a very broader perspective. Let's look into a little bit more precise format. Why we call it a new concept is because, and why this myth has been circulating around, because in earlier time and era, we used to have kings, we used to have royalties, we used to have a leader who used to, control everything, and that kind of civilization used to be there. So people and the bureaucrats and the noblemen and everyone used to be below them. So there was that structure. We didn't have companies and we didn't have like Fortune 500s and everything. So it was just like there were the kings and queens, royalties, and then people in the court who were working for them. So those were the people who actually, because they had to represent and they were the people who were taking care of the people under them, they were the one who used to hire experts into various domains to work on them. So if you would go and look at a very beautiful movie called King's Speech, and that movie is all about, about a speech therapist working with King of England and working on his stutter. Then another one is a very beautiful movie again is The Iron Lady, which is about Margaret Thatcher and how she goes through the whole transformation. I am getting a message that Anto, you cannot hear me. Is my voice audible to everyone? Can you please If you can all write in the chat box. Yes, okay. All right. Anto, I would request you, I'm getting a lot of yeses from everyone. So, okay, everyone says that's audible. I would request you to check it at your end, please. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I was talking about the movie The Iron Lady. It's again a very beautiful movie where Margaret Thatcher goes through a transformation, and there are these two politicians who are also experts in their domain of how politicians need to be groomed, and groom her to make what Margaret Thatcher eventually became, the first female prime minister of UK. So that was another one which is a very great movie. So yes, what I'm trying to arrive over here is that earlier times there were people who were celebrities and politicians and royalties who used to hire image consultants and experts in soft skills. Now, because we are living in a world where that concept of king and queen does not exist anymore, we now have people who are leaders. Individually, we all are leaders, right? In our own companies, we are team leaders, we are group managers, we are country managers, we are running our own businesses. Something or somewhere or the other, we are all mostly into leadership role. Even as student also, you are maybe handling a certain project. So we need to have these skills, because and also with a lot of competition, with everyone having the same set of hard skills, you need to set yourself apart. So that is why now with the common masses, it has become and it is picked up as a concept, and everyone now wants to work on their image and soft skills. But earlier it was restricted to certain group of people only. But it's not a new concept. So that's myth number 1 busted. Moving on to myth number 2. Image consulting is only for women. Well, it's a big myth, although I'm talking to you right now being a woman. But again, in our institute in ISIM, we have a very wonderful bunch of men who are also alumni, as well as a lot of them who are pursuing right now, and great image consultants, some people who have huge amount of corporate experience, 20 years plus of corporate experience, working in one of the biggest companies in India, and now moved on to become an image consultant and a trainer. We have a celebrity stylist, we have a model, we have people who are working with the at the airport and with defense and in defense forces and everything in India. So there are a lot of group of people who are in our institute itself. Overall, if I have to talk about worldwide, one of the best image consultants, and I have personally met one gentleman who had been working with the administration of US, past administration of US government, and was a very important part of the campaigning, and was an image consultant for that campaign, for the past administration campaign, and one of the top notch image consultant, and he's a guy. So it's not something that is restricted to women. Another thing that I would also want to say over here is that image consulting is a profession, right? So consulting is something that a consultant does, and a consultant can be a man or a woman. It doesn't have to have a gender attached to it. So just like an engineer can be a man or a woman, image consultant simply can be a man or a woman. It's gender neutral profession. So I hope that busts the myth number 2. It's not only for women. Coming to myth number 3. Image consulting is only about appearance. I think I already addressed that in the first quiz itself, where I showed you the picture of the doctor. So yes, as I said, visuals matter the most, because the first thing that you see before anything else process, the first few seconds when you lay eyes on something or someone, is you are only able to capture the visuals of it. It's only a few seconds later when you say, hi, hello, good evening, I'm Sonia Dubey Dewan. It takes a few seconds or split second to actually come to the behavior and the communication aspect. But the first thing that you notice or your brain processes is the visual. So yes, appearance comes first, or maybe is the most important, and then followed by the behavior and communication. But is it only about appearance? No. Image management, image consulting is based on the ABC of image, which is appearance, behavior, and communication. So not at all restricted to appearance only. So that myth number 3 busted. Going on to myth number 4. So image consulting or soft skills trade, if you have a certification in image consulting or soft skills, you can become a corporate trainer. And that equals, yes, you can become a corporate trainer, that's yes, but equals to corporate trainer, well, that's a no. Now let me elaborate a little bit more about it. What is a corporate trainer? So corporate means company, trainer means anyone who has the expertise or knowledge to go out and impart knowledge on a particular topic to a group of people. Okay, so if we combine these two things together, a trainer, corporate trainer would be a person who is an expert who goes usually to companies to impart knowledge to a group of people on the topic that he or she is an expert in. Okay, so that's a corporate trainer. So saying that if you are an image consultant or a soft skills certified, you will automatically become a corporate trainer. Well, that's a dimension or a career path that you can choose, but you automatically become a corporate trainer? Not really. Everyone is a corporate trainer who has an expertise. So for that matter, somebody who is a supply chain expert can be a corporate trainer. Somebody who's an expert and has the training ability to teach yoga to a group of people can be a corporate trainer. Somebody who is another example could be Six Sigma, right? Or someone who is into production, expert in production, or any topic, maybe how to run your computer or how to actually run PowerPoint or make PowerPoint. Even that person, if he has the skill to stand in front of audience and train them and is an expert, can be a corporate trainer, right? So if you are if you have completed your image consulting certification or your soft skill certification, one of the career paths you can choose to be a corporate trainer, or you can just be a consultant who can consult people on one-on-one. But does soft skill certification mean equal to corporate trainer? No. Corporate trainer can be anybody who's an expert in that area. So I hope that bust the myth number 4 also. And now that we have, I hope no questions on this so far. Any questions before we move on to the next segment? Oh, all right. So wonderful. So what we are going to do now is that we have learned exactly what image management is, what soft skills is. We have busted a few myths also. We have learned the importance. Now coming to the main part of the session, which is about the career opportunities. And for this part of the webinar, I'm going to hand it over to my co-founder, Ashwin Dewan, and he will be taking you through the different career paths or different career opportunities that you can have as a image consultant or soft skills trainer. Over to you, Ashwin.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much for that explanation about image management and soft skills. I think everyone has probably got a better understanding today about this entire subject matter. So today, before I get started with the aspect of explaining you what career opportunities and how to really find the career opportunity that works best for you, I want to give you a little bit of an introduction about myself. So my name is Ashwin Dewan, and as Sonia said, I am one of the co-founder of Indian School of Image Management, along with Sonia. I've had a varied experience of working in large companies, having my own startups, having multiple businesses that I ran at a point of time over the last 15 to 16 odd years. So over this entire period of time, I've really experienced a large gamut of work, both in India and Australia and Singapore, as well as in the Middle East. So today what we're going to learn, coming back to the presentation, is going to be about first, how do we really define or find what's the right career path for us? There are many ways, and if ever you ever gone to a educational counselor or a educational consultant, they'll have many ways of defining and helping you find that career path. May that be psychometric tests, personality tests, different kind of things that they will ask you, questionnaires, quizzes, etc. So those are a lot, and I have to say a lot of them actually do work. But I felt a simpler approach sometimes actually gives the honest answer. So what I'm going to present to you and tell you today is a simple 3-step process. So these 3-step process will help us deliver and come to our career mantra. So every one of you, if you have a pen and paper, please make sure you take note of this. If you don't have a pen and paper, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You can always come back in the future, watch these webinars. You will have a recording of this webinar, and you can definitely do this as an activity later on. But understand it, what it means. So step 1 of this activity of finding your career path is think about what you love. All right. Everything, the why of what you want to do has to start with deciding on what you really love doing. That entire aspect of getting up on a Monday morning does not matter, because a Monday or a Wednesday or a Saturday is just a day for you. When that becomes just a day for you, when you think about what you love doing, what you enjoy doing. All right. So what you want to do here is, as an activity, the first thing you will do is you will write down what inspires you. So you can answer these questions simply by saying what subjects. So go back to your college days, or if you are in college right now, or if you are pursuing some education program also, think about what subjects really inspire you. What do you really get excited about? Which is the first book that you like to read in your entire curriculum? That will give you the first indicator of what you love. Think about all the activities that you like to do. Think about time. When you like doing something, time suddenly just passes by. Hours and hours and days just pass by, and you don't even come to know when you're doing a certain activity. So define that. Finally, another way to find out what you really love is understanding who you follow. Who you follow as a leader, who you follow as a mentor, who you follow as an inspiration to you. So look at that aspect also. All right. So this will help you find your, or let's list down at least 3 things that you truly like to do. Why I'm saying 3 things is because later on I'm going to ask you to further filter it down to 1. So right now I'm not asking you to make that big commitment of deciding on that one thing, but at least use this activity to define what you really love and define the top 3 things. Okay. So this is step number 1 of doing this activity. Once we've defined what we really like and what we love doing, the next step we have to do is identify defining experiences. Now, every one of us is nothing but a culmination of different experiences that we've had in our lives. Experiences that we've had in our childhood, experiences that we've had in our professional lives, in our college, with our friends, with our colleagues, with projects, with personal experiences or professional experiences. So what you need to do is step 2 is define or think of 3 experiences that taught you something about yourself. I'm not telling you to define experiences that you like, but something that made you realize something about yourself. Something that you did, something happened to you that made you define yourself. That experience is defining you. Once you've listed down those 3 experiences, again, select one of them, which has the greatest significance. After you've defined 3, define at least one of them. Pick one of them and then explain in a very simple, don't make it into a paragraph, in a very simple single sentence of why that experience has defined you. What exactly happened in that experience? What did you learn about yourself in that experience? Okay. Again, if there's any questions, drop them in the chat box. I will definitely address all the questions at the later end of the presentation. But this is step number 2 of finding your career path. Step number 3 is create a self-portrait. Now, what does this exactly mean? Now, you have to create who you are. If you close your eyes and you start imagining who you are as a person, and you have to put words or you have to put qualities about yourself around you, those are the self-portrait. So are you friendly? Are you creative? Are you impatient? Are you a great manager? Are you great in stress? Are you really fit? Think about all the qualities that you have as a person. List down that entire frame so that if I were to close my, or you were to close your eyes, you would exactly know who you are. So that self-portrait is what you need to create. Again, just like all the other steps, we have to pick at least 3 of the top qualities. Now you can rank them, you can put them in terms of priority. I completely leave that up to your discretion. Find out the top 3 qualities that define you. So what are the 3 top qualities that define Sonia, or what are the 3 top qualities that define Ashwin? Those are the things that we have to individually work for ourselves. So after we've done step 1 and step 2 and step 3, we have to combine the results that we got for each step into defining a mantra for us. Okay, and I've given this little script for all of you. So what you have to do is, what you found from step 1 was what you love doing. So your first mantra is, my passion in life is to, and that blank has to be filled in with what you found in step 1. All right, so that's the first part of what you utilize. Now further, the step 2 is the experience that led you to define who you are, because life has taught me too. Now this is what you're going to know about yourself, what life has taught you, something that an experience has defined you as a person. I will achieve my purpose by using that one particular skill or one particular activity or something that is an attribute to you, which was step number 3. When you use these 3 steps, this will give you a simple, and as I said, there are many complicated quizzes, there are many complicated ways, parameters to define what career is good for you. And those are also great. But this is a simple way to really find out which direction are you going in. What direction do you want to go? And then make course correction. So use the simple technique of 3 steps to find what your career is. All right. So just as a revision, if you want, there are 3 simple ways of looking at it. First, define what you love. Second, define that one experience that defines you. Third, attributes about yourself. What are your attributes? I think somebody's put in the question saying, what if reply of step 3 is negative attributes? So my objective here is, your negative attributes are your weaknesses. Sometimes in this process, having or defining a weakness is also good, because you know then using your career, that's the area where you can grow. So if you're ever looking for a growth area for your career, those weaknesses or those negative attributes that you've mentioned, Sunil, will probably help you find that. But for the purpose of this exercise, I would restrict you or ask you to think about the positive attributes that you can think of. All right, so that's the first 3 steps of defining your career path. Once you've defined your career path, then you can decide where you want to go. And in today's class, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a lot, as Sonia explained us in much detail, about image management and soft skills. I'm going to spend a lot of time now talking to you about the top 12 career opportunities that image management and soft skills has to offer. Now, these are just 12. There are many. There are probably, I think when we were discussing on doing this session for all of you, we easily came up with about 20 to even 30 different career opportunities. So we had to really pick and shortlist them into 12, but these are the 12 major ones which we feel people, if they're excited, can move towards. So let's understand them one by one. So I'm going to take you through each career opportunity at one point of time. So the first career opportunity, when you do study or you do become a person who's specialized in image management or soft skills, the first thing what you can look at is public speaking and communication coaching. Now, this is a very large industry. This is a much in demand industry. Communication coaching, especially in India, is something that has been growing tremendously. There are people who hire public speaking coaches, and then there are people who can work in this domain as an employment. And I'll talk about a little bit about that also. So just looking at some of the facts which I've mentioned here, public speaking is one of the #1 fears in most people in the world. So hence people do look for consultants, people do look for advisors who can help them with this aspect. So that's why public speaking is a much demand service in today's world. Just as an example, I've given you here that most people who work as probably entrepreneurs or coaches can probably earn anywhere between 25,000 to 2 lakh rupees. Now, why such a big spectrum? Because it depends on your clientele, it depends on the needs of the person, and also it largely depends on your experience. Now, a person who has very limited experience, just like in any other career, would start at the bottom of the spectrum and slowly make their way up to the top of the spectrum. So the more experience you gain in, like in any other career format also, your effective earnings go up. I've given you a few examples of certain profiles that you can look at when looking at this particular domain. So profiles are something like presentation trainer, vocal and coaches, language and verbal coaches, body language coaches, voice culture coaches. Now, these are different profiles that a person who studies image management and soft skills can probably go and pursue and create a profile or a niche for themselves. In terms of opportunities, the first one is quite obvious, that if your objective is to be an entrepreneur, a self-owned person, to be independent, you can definitely look at becoming a coach in this domain. But also, when you study this domain, and this is a space where you want to build a career, from employment opportunities, you're looking at educational institutes, which definitely hire a lot of people for these kind of trainings and educational sessions. Companies in BPOs, business process outsourcing, as well as KPOs, which are knowledge process outsourcing, do recruit a lot of people for training, again, their employees into this domain. And finally, companies which have a large retail sales driven companies. So typically your FMCG companies or any companies which are major retail sales driven, those are the people who recruit people with this skill set. So this is the first example of a career opportunity which you can look at with image management and soft skills as a domain of expertise. Again, if you have questions, keep dropping them in the chat box. We will address all the questions that you have at the end of the session. The second one is more on the other side now. Now let's look at the appearance aspect of it. So bridal and wedding consulting is another domain or another career focus that a person can look at. Few of the important stats that you want to keep in mind, that the Indian wedding industry is the second largest in the world. And I'm pretty sure all of us would agree to that fact. Knowing the big Indian weddings that we have, where we sometimes call hundreds and thousands of people, it is a huge industry. On average, and I'm just going to give you a fact on terms of clothing. When we read a few reports, on average, clothing budgets of large weddings in India range at about 2.8 crores. And interestingly, up to 80% of all designer business in India comes from bridal wear. So you look at any of the top designers in India, 80% of the money that they earn is actually from bridal wear. So that's a huge indicator for everyone who studies image management and soft skills, that if you are interested in this domain, this is a huge opportunity for you. Profiles, when you're looking at profiles in this domain, typically can range between people who want to work as wedding designers and planners, who can design the entire wedding for a couple or for a family, from everything from the clothing to the decor to everything. Because when a person is an image consultant, they would be able to not only understand the appearance, but also will be able to understand what kind of personality is a person, and hence recommend certain aspects which most likely other wedding consultants or planners would not be able to do that. The second profile, which is the one which comes back to the second fact, which I have listed down about designer brands, is the bridal trousseau. When people are spending tremendous amount of money on that aspect, they're looking for people who are experts to guide them to the right destination. That's where the another profile of bridal trousseaus come into play. Opportunities in this segment, again, there is an entrepreneurial opportunity that you want to set up an independent business of your own and grow in this space. But let's say if you do not want to do that and you want to look for an employment opportunity in this domain and you're interested in this career focus. So you're looking at specialist wedding planning companies. There are many of them which have come into India who hire people who understand all these elements of appearance behavior, which a couple can then utilize to get their wedding just the way they want. Event management companies also do recruit a lot of people in this domain. And finally, fashion designers. Fashion designers, as I said, 80% of their business comes from bridal wear. They want people who can talk to a client in language which will be somewhat as a specialist, as a domain expert, not only just recommending people, hey, this is a trend, but also understanding much more smaller nuances of color, of fit, of personalities, and then recommend certain clothing. So again, a huge career opportunity if that is something that you're again talking about. Again, just to remind you, we're talking about 12 major or the top career opportunities, and we'll talk about mostly all the domains here. Taking a real switch from bridal, now we get into corporate trainers. Now, Sonia already mentioned a myth that she busted, that image consulting equals to corporate trainer. That's, as she correctly explained, isn't the fact. But a person who studies image management or soft skills can definitely pursue a career to be a corporate trainer. The domain of corporate training will be their expertise of image management and soft skills. Now, this industry is one of the largest industries in training and development. So corporate training, just to give you an idea, according to a source which we read on Business World, just the corporate training market for India is about USD 130 million, which focuses just on the 4 topics of soft skills, appearance, behavior, and communication. So you're looking at an industry which is very, very large, very well established, and something that you can definitely create your career in. When you're looking at profiles in this space, you're looking at profiles such as soft skills trainers or image management trainers. As Sonia explained, that's the domain that you've learned. That's the domain that you're going to cater to corporates. Now, an interesting example is, if you look at the slide, there are two examples, or there are pictures of one of our alumni, Ruhi, who is a corporate trainer and conducts training sessions on soft skills and image management for large companies. So that's her journey, where she took the opportunity of building her own business and creating a niche for herself in this space. On the same side, in the opportunities, you can look at employment. Typically, companies which are large IT companies, something like the Infosys, the Tech Mahindra, the Mindtree, all these companies, the Wipros of the world, they are the ones which are always recruit corporate trainers, because they have a very large force or employee force, which are typically engineers. And engineers, in our experience, we've seen, are the ones who have very good hard skills and are always lacking on the soft skills. So that's why IT companies typically recruit a lot of trainers, soft skills and image management trainers, on an employment basis to work on an ongoing basis. Multinational companies and aviation industry also has a huge recruitment of corporate trainers, if that is something that you are interested in. All right, so that is number 3. Number 4, again, just like the trend, going from corporate training now to fashion and celebrity styling. If this is something that interests you, this is also a great opportunity when you study image management, especially with regards to the learnings that you can get from the appearance side of image management, really get you ready to become a stylist. So originally, stylists were more people who were working typically with the Bollywood industry or celebrities or billionaires, but that trend has slowly shifted. Not only regular everyday people want stylists, and I'll give you an example of this. Um, if you've ever heard of this company called Style Cracker, it's exactly the same thing. They are providing you a styling service in a box format which comes delivered to your home. So styling has now become a thing which everyone can access. So fashion styling or celebrity styling is a great profession if you want to get into and specialize and use your skills in the appearance domain. All right. Some of the things that you can look at in terms of profile: fashion stylist, celebrity stylist, personal stylist, as well as fashion editorial stylist. I'll explain what this means. This role is typically someone who works with an editorial or a news publication or a magazine for their styling requirements for the photographs they shoot for their magazines or again their newspapers. So that's another profile that you can look at when creating your career in this. In terms of employment opportunities, fashion stylists is obviously there. E-commerce brands are also hiring a large number of people for this domain. Retail fashion brands, fashion magazines. And finally, you can definitely become an entrepreneur. Some of the examples that you see on the slide are examples of our current alumni and students who have become fashion stylists and working with a lot of people in the industry. So number 5, image consultant. Now this is the one which is the most obvious one. If you're studying image consulting, this is the option which you have ready to start working. So image consulting is not, just like how I said about fashion styling, it's not only for the wealthy and the famous. Everyone recruits an image consultant now because they provide a holistic service. They don't only provide a specific service, they are the ones who provide a holistic service. Just as example, an image consultant can probably earn anywhere between 10,000 to a lakh for a service. Similarly, going to what I spoke about, the consulting, the public speaking coaches, it all depends on the experience that you bring to the table. A few examples here again, if you see on the slide, is our students and alumni who have now become image consultants and are practicing regularly. But that's the opportunity that you have when you study this domain of expertise. The next one is public relations and brand management. Now, if you are a person who's probably studied marketing or has always been interested in that domain, public relations and brand management is a great extension after studying image management. Why that is there? Because large number of brands across the world now are focusing extensively on investing money into the individuals in the company. So the leadership of the company is the most important investment which the marketing departments do. So making sure the CEO or the CFO or the head of the company, the founders of the company, the owners of the company are great brands, because their brands are what the company reaps benefit from. So an average, just to give you another fact, an average amount of money that they invest into personal branding for a leadership or a CEO of a company in India ranges from 25 lakhs to 1.5 crores. That's the amount of money they spend on making sure the CEO becomes a good personal brand. This is where the opportunity comes for you. When you look at profiles such as a personal branding person, a person on personal branding expert, or a reputation manager, or in public relations, these are the opportunities that you can look at. Again, in employment opportunities, you need to look at companies which are public relation agencies, advertising and branding agencies, celebrity management agencies, and startup companies. They are the ones which predominantly are recruiting people who have expertise in image management and can work with them on public relations and brand management. Just like most of the careers that I've been speaking about, this career also has that opportunity for you to become an independent or set up your own independent business and grow into this profession for yourself. Number 7, personal shopping. Personal shopping is something which is a really big growing trend in India. Companies even like Shoppers Stop have now a feature of just having personal shoppers available for their customers. So they recruit people who can work with them. A personal shopper is someone who helps you get what you want in terms of your shopping requirements. This has now become a very big thing for e-commerce also. So a large number of e-commerce companies are coming on board and saying that how can we improve your online shopping experience by giving you a personal shopper. So the opportunities in this segment are typically companies which are multi-brand retail fashion outlets, something similar to Shopper Stop, e-commerce companies which are also recruiting people, and then of course the luxury bespoke fashion brands. They're the one which are the top 1% who want to target that really high net worth clients. So those are the ones which offer personal shopping career opportunities for individuals. Number 8, lecturers and educators. Now this is another great career opportunity that a person can look at when studying image management. When you study image management, you can become a faculty or a guest lecturer with educational institutes. Why? Because educational institutes, especially in India, have understood that there is a huge need for skill development or soft skills development in the students. Because what their expertise over years and years of training has perfected is the hard skills, but they haven't focused enough on the soft skills. And that's why educational institutes are going out and hiring or welcoming or inviting guest lecturers to come and teach their students on this matter. If you see the picture here, that's another example of one of our alumni who was recently doing a workshop for kids. So primary school kids on soft skills. So it's not only for really people who are more evolved in their education or maybe in college or in professionally working, it's also for kids. There are lots of opportunities here. One of the first opportunities I can tell you is we ourselves are an education institute. We recruit people to train as faculty in our own institute. So if you want to build an opportunity or want to build a career as a lecturer or an educator, we provide that platform to you. Some of the other places which provide that opportunity in your career is fashion design colleges, management and engineering colleges, and as I said, primary schools also. So that's another career opportunity or direction that you can look into. Number 9. Now this is the one which is the buzzword more often or not, with the entire TikTok and Instagram and all of these things really becoming really popular. So blogging and social media influencers is another career which is becoming mainstream slow and slow. Now why this has become a mainstream career is because over the past 5 years, looking at the stat which I've given you, influencer marketing has built an industry from anywhere $5 to $10 billion globally. This is a global number. The second interesting fact is in India, 17% of companies have spent half their marketing budgets on just influencer marketing. So you need to understand how much money is being spent on influencers. Influencers are those people who've got lots and lots of followers. Now, how does that correlate to image management or soft skills? When you study image management and soft skills, if your objective is to become a social influencer in the domain of, let's say, fashion, let's say in the domain of communication or any of the multiple domains that you study, it gives you all the expertise to start communicating. Your job as a social influencer is content creation. You can only create content if you understand the domain. So that's why image management and soft skills is a very good expertise to know if your objective is also to become a social influencer. All right. Again, I've given you an example of one of our alumni who's working towards becoming a social influencer. She's probably only started her journey a month or so back and has been doing really great in the space of fashion, food, and travel. So that's another example of social influencer or a career opportunity which you have. Let's go to the number 10, life coaching. Now, this is something you might have already heard of, you might be already well aware of, but this is a very big established industry. To the estimate of $1.3 billion is what it's going to be worth by 2022 globally. So it's a very large established industry. If your objective is to get into life coaching, image management and soft skills again is a great first step. As I said again, first step, you might have to take multiple steps to get to life coaching, but image management and soft skills is a great first step in this direction. Why is that so? Because when you study image management, you're not only studying about the appearance of behavior and communication, but also the psychology of an individual. You're understanding holistically how to see an individual and how to guide that person. So that's why this is a great first step in the direction of life coaching. So again, the opportunities are to become a professional coach or a life coach if that is something that you're interested in as a career path. We're getting to the last two now. Number 11, learning and development. So this is typically used as a acronym called L&D in most organizations. What L&D means, or learning and development means, this is a department actually that sits in most companies under the HR umbrella. Okay, so the HR, the human resource division of most large companies will have a department called learning and development. Now, the size of the department obviously depends on the size of the company. But this learning and development department is tasked with the objective to increase learning programs, education for the employees. So a lot of multinational companies, especially the consulting companies like the KPMGs, and all the big fours, those are companies as well as financial service companies, IT companies, which recruit people and have learning and development teams. Now, these people work in these teams as either trainers. So you could be a person who might be delivering trainings. You might be working in project management, where you've been given a particular project on training and development. You might be working on developing training programs, where you might be tasked by saying that, hey, you have the expertise, now develop a training program, and then maybe later also deliver it. So these are three different major profiles that you can look at when looking at learning and development. The last one is going to be about etiquette and behavior coach. Just like I spoke about the public speaking and communication coach, even this focus largely on the behavioral aspect of what you learn in image management. This is another industry which has been growing a lot. This has a special focus, or this has a great opportunity if your objective is to work in maybe the government or in the bureaucracy of any country. Why? Because protocol training of how, so protocol training is typically how bureaucracy would be, how delegates work, and if there is a foreign dignitary which is coming to your country, what are the protocols to be followed? That is all what is learned in etiquette and behavior. Those are the opportunities that one can look at. Along with that, then there are also opportunities in the education space, just like in other communication and some of the other elements that we spoke about. Even the educational institutes recruit a lot of people just with the focus of etiquette and behavior. Another industry or employment opportunity is the B2B sales. So that is business to business sales, where you're working with two large corporations are working with each other, where typically the salespeople are where a senior person is meeting a very senior person in a one-on-one meeting. So it all depends on how well do you do that handshake, how well do you have your mannerisms of managing a meeting, of talking, behaviors, all those things really become critical at that stage. So again, that's a great opportunity if that's something that you want to look at. Typical profiles that you can think of in this opportunity are behavioral coach, etiquette experts, or dining etiquette experts. Now, this is the 12th opportunity that I was going to talk to you, or career direction that one can look at after probably learning image management or soft skills. All right. Just to tell you again, these 12 are the major ones which we shortlisted. There are a lot of different opportunities. And the way you have to define, these are probably not the answer only for your question about what's my next career or what's my current career going to be like. You have to focus on that activity which I just told you at the start, the 3 steps process. What I love doing, what is an experience that defines me, and then what are my skills or attributes that I bring. That will help you find the particular thing that you're supposed to do. All these 12 sound really good, but out of these 12 also, which is the one you want to focus on? When you do that activity, you will find the answer for that particular thing. All right. So these are the 12 major opportunities that or career directions that we wanted to speak to you about. Now, next, I'm just going to run you through a little bit of quick facts about ISIM and what do we really provide you, or how do you really get started in this direction for your career. So Indian School of Image Management is an professional educational institute. We provide professional certification programs in image management, in fashion, as well as in soft skills. We are one of the only featured training institutes by a body called Association of Image Consultants International. There are only 6 globally, so we're very proud to be part of that list. We have centers in India and Mumbai, New Delhi, Gurgaon, Bangalore, as well as we have presence in Mauritius. We do teach our programs via online sessions, and in the near future, we are looking at coming pretty soon to Pune and Kolkata once COVID-19 and other scenarios become a little bit better for all of us. So if you are in one of those cities, you will probably see us soon also. Fingers crossed, everything comes back to normal. All right, so about the courses. Now, these are the 2 major certification courses that we spoke about, or the domains also. And these are the certification courses that you can enroll yourself into. The one on the left is the Image Management Dual Certification course. That is the one which focuses purely on all the 3 domains. So it's a very holistic course focusing on appearance subjects, behavioral subjects, and communication. So it's a complete holistic approach towards image management. It's a course that runs for approximately 4 to 6 months, depending on what kind of format you're learning in, what kind of batch you're selecting. It has classroom training, mentoring, self-learning, and multiple resources. It has over 210 hours of learning in this program. The advanced soft skills, which you see on the right side, is the second course. This one focuses purely on the advanced level soft skills subjects, which a person can learn and become an expert to. And I will run you through a very quick slide on what the subjects look like also. This is a course which is completely online, with classes are happening online. It typically takes between 6 to 7 months to complete this course also. It's a very holistic approach course, again, focused on the domain of all different aspects of soft skills. Okay, now talking about the first course, I will not talk much about it, but if you can see on the right hand side, the table shows you all the different modules. You typically study about 24 to 25 different subjects split across all these different modules. This course is an accredited program by AICI for CEUs. It is also a program which is an affiliation with our partner institute based out of Canada, which is called International Image Institute. And yes, this is a holistic course that you can do if you want to really focus on image management. So this is an international certified course that will get you ready in that journey of image management. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat box and I'll be happy to address all of them at the end of the session. All right, so next course that I spoke about was the Advanced Soft Skills Certification course. Now, as I said, this is a course which focuses a lot on the subjects of soft skills only, which are more focused on behavioral as well as communication. So if you look at the subjects, there are more communication, leadership, internal management, etc. So there are a lot of soft skills related subjects here. You study approximately around 37 different subjects as part of this entire course. And again, there is a lot of different material, study material, refreshers, programs, development kits that are provided to you to get ready and start working or start your career in this domain. All right. So that's the Advanced Soft Skills Certification course. Just want to map out the journey of a typical student. So the first, basically when a student enrolls for any of the courses, they go through a classroom training, which can be either online or in classroom. Currently, all of our courses are running via live online classes. While they're studying, while their online classes are going on or their face-to-face classroom trainings are going on, they also get access to a lot of study material, which are books, workbooks, assignments, videos to study on their own. So a lot of self-study happens. The next step is the self-implementation. So everything that you learn, we ask you to implement on yourself so that you understand everything from a practical standpoint also. You would have gradable assignments that you would have to do as part of the course. You would have to do a pro bono presentation. So there's this last presentation which you have to make to the head faculty at the end of the course to summarize, to showcase what you've learned in the entire program. After this, you get your certification. This is the aha moment which everyone gets, and they get that certification and that big smile comes up. But this is not the end of the journey of a student. After the certification, the student goes through a fellowship program. The fellowship program is where we provide them the hand-holding as well as the experience, the industry experience. Think of it somewhat of an internship for them to get hands-on experience of how it works. That's something that is provided in the fellowship. Finally, we also provide you with business mentoring. So if your objective, and we saw through a lot of the career opportunities that I explained, there are a lot of career opportunities which are something where you can set up your own business. So we also provide you with business classes, and we also provide you a lot of career mentoring. This career mentoring is for a period of 12 months. So you have a person from the institute who's hand-holding you and guiding you on how you need to set up your career and work towards it, because the first 12 months after you finish your courses is the most important for you. The last slide for my session today is why you should look at these courses. Yes, it provides you with a lifetime learnings to become a transformational leader. You get proven strategies. You learn everything from a holistic standpoint. You get credibility because you're learning from world-class trainers. And finally, you get certified internationally. So tomorrow, if you're even training an expat, an MNC, or you're training outside India to other countries, your certification is as valid as any other place. So that international certification becomes critical. Okay, so that brings me to the end of our session. Now I would be happy to take questions, and I will also bring Sonia back onto the screen. Sonia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Ashwin.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we've got any questions or if we can take up any questions right now. Do we have enough time?
All right, we do have one question, and this is, I think, by, let me just read, Ishita. So Ishita has asked, how much can one earn on an average with the bridal trousseau profile?
Okay, so I can give my answer, and I think Sonia, you can elaborate a lot more on this.
Sure.
I think a bridal trousseau profile, there are two elements to what you charge. The first one is what you would charge your end customer. So whoever's wedding it is, so you would charge them a service fees. The service fees again depends on the kind of clientele you have. If it's an ultra HNI or an HNI client, you would be charging them anywhere between a lakh to 2 lakhs to 5 lakh rupees. If you are looking at smaller clienteles who are not planning to spend that much on their wedding, you will charge them lesser. A good thumb rule, and I'll let Sonia add to it, is to charge anywhere between 10 to 15% of the total amount a person or a family plans to spend on that wedding. So that's a good way to look at it. And then obviously when you're working with other vendors where you're sourcing the bridal trousseau for someone, there would be some kind of arrangement which you will come in contact with the designers where you can get additional earnings. Sonia, would you want to add on to this answer?
Yes, Ashwin, more or less on the similar lines of what you said. It is one of the highest paying, services that an image consultant can provide. And with very high net worth individuals, you can look at numbers. There is no limit to it. On a lower end, as Ashwin said, that you can charge a percentage over the total billing that is going to happen and the amount that they are going to be willing to spend. Again, there are a lot of factors, and that's what we teach you in the program. We actually dive deeper into bridal shopping. That's a separate module altogether, where we take you through exactly what are the risks, what are the pre-shopping, what are the things that you need to run through. Also, what are the ways that you need to do bridal shopping. Finally, giving you the financials, we actually give you the numbers, how to calculate. What are the things to keep in mind while you're doing the calculation, and how to run the payment method, what are the risks, what are the backup and associates you need to have, and then giving you a lot of templates which you can use for bridal consultation. So we show you mood boards, we give you forms, we give you templates which are ready. So you get a very hands-on experience when you are learning the bridal shopping experience. But yes, the answer, what Ashwin said, so I will resonate with that only, and it is pretty much the same answer. So I hope that answer your question, Ishita. You can write yes into the chat box if that's been answered for you.
So we have a couple of other questions.
Yes.
I see one which probably I think you can take on.
Mm-hmm.
How effective will be the soft skills training course, considering it needs more of tutorial student classroom interaction uh, with the present scenario of COVID scenario? So I think you being the head faculty can probably answer that question of how does the online training exactly culminate compared to the offline training?
Absolutely. So thanks for the question, Bhavani. But yes, we are in the current times of COVID situation. Um, However, yes, the classroom training and classroom interaction is something that is a different experience altogether. But the way that we have created our online and converted all our online training is also like how you are interacting right now with us. This is a very small glimpse of it. We have actually converted all our material, our activities, and as well as interaction into more hands-on. So there are a lot of other institutes which do pre-recorded sessions. None of our sessions, none of our trainings in our institute are pre-recorded. So everything is hands-on, everything is live. The way that the session works is that we once complete something, it's a Q&A, it's a dialogue based training that we provide. So you do not feel that you're sitting in a different locations. You kind of feel that you are having an interaction. It's very hands-on. You can stop your faculty at any moment before they jump onto the next topic, next slide, or next sentence altogether. So that's something that we take pride in, that all our sessions, be it online or offline, are so personal that we touch upon each individual, and it's not something that is just in general pre-recorded sessions. So I think it is highly, I would, and I can let my students talk because few of them are right now attending the session live also. So I have always got a very good feedback, and they have been highly effective. So I hope that answer your question. And if you want to add something to that, Ashwin, you can.
No,
Definitely.
I think you summed it up really well. Let's look at some of the other questions because I'm sure we're caught up on time also. So
Shruti is asking, will we be receiving the recording of this webinar? Will we be
yes,
uploading this?
so Shruti, you would be getting this recording of this webinar. It will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So somebody from our team will get in touch with you and will share across the recording of this session to everyone on the session today. Yeah. Sonia, I think there's a question on so we have this question, can anyone from any career background be an image consultant? I'm a hotelier. So again, I'm going to push this question again to you because no one better than you to answer this question.
So Sharanya, great question. And now that you are in hotelier, again, one of my very proud alumni is also from the hospitality and having a background of working in hotel. I would say that because we are teaching you something which is on image management, we start the way that the program is devised. It is right from foundation, then taking you to intermediary, and finally taking you to the advanced side of it. So if you remember how Ashwin took you through the whole career progression and the chart, the path that you really take, it's not that we are just leaving you with maybe very advanced level or something which is very basic. We take you from basics and take you all the way to the advanced level. So having said that, if you are from any field, we ask you to just come with the a blank canvas, with an open mind, and then we start training you right from the basics, right from exactly breaking down the philosophy and the psychological effects of image. We start from there, and then we finally build upon to the concepts. So anyone who has a passion to learn, who want to get into the field of image consulting, who want to really work with people, make a difference, take them to the next level of their highest potential, are people who can take up this program. And as I said, one of my very proud alumni is also from the same background. So definitely you can think about it. So I hope that answer your question, Sharon.
Actually, I would say, Sonia, I think you have a couple of alumni who are from this background, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
She's just recently passed out, so she may be on the top of my mind, but a few of them, yes, from hotel management, we have a lot of them. Few of them are currently pursuing as well. So yes, this is definitely one area. And again, let's just touch upon a few elements of when you are into, hospitality. I think somewhere that natural talent, or the talent that you have built upon over the period of working with them, with various groups of people, with interacting with people, comes in really handy. I think that experience will actually add on and help you in catching or grasping the power to work with individuals very easily. So I'm pretty sure that it will be helpful.
Okay, let's look at the last few questions that we have.
Sure.
So let's answer this one. What is the scope of image management, and is it limited to a particular strata? All right, so I can take a little bit about that because
Yes,
I
good.
kind of explained that entire 12 careers right now. So, Shweta, good question again. Yes, image management there is a huge scope for image management. As I explained you just earlier in this presentation, the 12 major career paths that you can look, and then under these career paths, there were lots of opportunities in terms of different roles, in different profiles, in different opportunities in companies, or in your own entrepreneurial opportunities. So all of those are available. Again, these are some 12 major, but if I'm correct, Sonia, and tell me if I'm correct here, last when I had checked, we had estimated anywhere between around 30 to 40 different career opportunities that a person can look at when pursuing a career under the umbrella of image management, right?
Yes, so that is very aptly said, Ashwin. And yes, because you can have so many niches and you can go and target a particular target audience. So there is just every time when we are brainstorming, and if you remember the mentorship role that we were talking about, we sit down with each student and we create their career path. So every time we sit with a new student, a new career path actually comes in, or there's a sub niche into the overall niche that they come up with. So overall, as of now, we have looked at approximately 30 plus career paths, but the majority ones which you can put into a wider umbrellas are the ones that we have covered today. So then you can have further sub niches into this area.
Yeah, I just stopped the screen share so that it will be a little easier for everyone to probably look at us. It'll be there. All right, I think there's just one other question. Let me just see if I can find it. So that's a really good question about AICI and CIC, Sonia. What it says is to get an AICI CIC certified certification, I believe. Do we need to have a certificate first, or can we directly apply for it? So
All right.
I think you are the obviously the current president of AICI India, as well as one of the first CIPs in India. So who better to answer this question? I will definitely not take a dig at it.
You can answer that very well, Ashwin, but yes, I will take it up. So Ranjita, thanks for your question. Yes, you need to get your certification in image consulting first to apply for CIC. And just to give you a little idea about how does it work. So AICI is a non-for-profit organization, and if you have to look at it, it's like if I have to give you a reference, it's maybe something which is
A university.
University, yeah, something like this. So university will still not be a great example. Okay, let me just give you an analogy, and you can all relate with that very easily. So you all know about law, right? And everyone studies law. Now, you can study law and you can have an LLB degree, and that can make you a lawyer. But for you to practice or fight a case or become an advocate for someone, you need to pass a bar exam, right? Then you can be an advocate. So that's the difference between a law school, which will give you an LLB degree, and the bar exam, which will make you the advocate. So if I have to give you an example, our institute will give you the degree, but you need, which is your law degree or an image consulting degree, you need that degree to finally become an advocate. And that advocate degree is your CIC, which will come from AICI. So you require the image consulting training and certification. And after that, that's your step number one. There's 7 to 8 different steps to achieve CIC. So your step number one is to receive and complete your education in Image Consulting Institute, and then finally moving on to apply for the AICI CIC certification. So I hope that gives you a little clarity to understand the difference between the two certifications.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure they're clear on that. I think some of you might have been messaging also in the chat saying that you wanted some details about the course. We will be definitely asking our team of program advisors to get in touch with whoever is interested in knowing more about the course. So if you would want to know about the course, just leave a yes or a message in the chat window, and then someone from our side and the team would probably get in touch with you with more specific details and probably answer any specific queries or questions that you all have. All right, so that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, Sonia, for taking out time for sharing your knowledge about image management and soft skills today. And thank you everyone who's attended for today's session. Thank you for taking out time on a Saturday evening and coming and learning something new. I hope this was fruitful for all of you. I hope you've been able to find that driving nature towards finding your career path. And yeah, Sonia, would you want to add something here?
No, thanks everyone for attending. I can see a lot of familiar faces. So, hi Sonal, I just saw your message. So good to see you over here. And everyone else, I hope we answered your question, and I hope you all got a clarity about career opportunities in image consulting, in soft skills. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments, and I'm glad you all learned so much. So, thanks once again, and have a great evening, all of you. Please leave a yes in the chat if you want to get more information about the programs or any other further details. Our program advisors will reach out to you. Till then, stay safe and have a great evening, all of you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Good evening.